What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and first of all, you might notice the lighting isn't quite as good as usual, and that's because I'm a bit under the weather, so staring directly into bright lights probably isn't the best idea for me, so hopefully it still looks alright, and also you'll probably notice it in my voice, especially as the video goes on, but I'm going to try my best with the commentary anyways. But in today's video, well, technically today's second video, as I did actually upload a video earlier today, so if you missed that, make sure you go back and check it out. But I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Open Great League featuring 3 buff Dragon-type Pokemon, with Drampa in the lead, and honestly the star of the show, as it gained access to Swift, which is a 35 energy charge attack, which significantly improves its pacing, but also it hits for stab damage as this Pokemon is sub-normal typing, so Swift actually hits pretty hard. Now Dragalge gained access to Sludge Bomb, which again helps his pacing against Fairy types, because previously he had to go all the way up until a Gunk Shot, which would have done a lot of damage but also cost a ton of energy. And then we finally got Narganadel with Acrobatics, which most people probably didn't even realize this Pokemon learnt it, but I'll be honest, in my small 15 game sample size, it really didn't help me out, and just being able to boost its attack with Fell Stinger probably would have been more beneficial. But anyways, with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. What do you think is the most overrated move buff this season? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also quickly, I do want to remind everyone that I am hosting a new weekly subscriber challenge, and the first challenge is on screen right now. You can find out more about the challenge and submit your entry by following the link in the description. You'll have until Sunday evening to send in your battle, so there's still plenty of time. With that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, in Drampa into Shadow Galarian Weezing. So of course, not very good for me at all. I'm going to say swap into my Dragalge, and the opponent going to fire off a Charge Move immediately, going for the Brutal Swing, dealing some decent damage, before swapping into a Shadow Lapras. Now unfortunately, Lapras will be able to go for a full sideway farm down. We go for Sludge Bomb, unfortunately grabbing a shield there as well, but Sludge Bomb wouldn't quite get the KO anyway, so at this point, we're going to come back in with the Drampa. They've got a ton of energy, so I'm going to shield, respect the damage. The opponent full sends the Ice Beam there. At this point, they're probably going to reach another Ice Beam, so I'm happy to double shield and then try to commit to a full Dragon Breath farm down. The opponent does not allow the farm down. Let's swap back into Galarian Weezing. I'm going straight for Swift. Swift grabs the final shield. We're going to swap into Narganadel, and unfortunately, even though Acrobatics does cost less energy this season, they're still going to outpace me to back-to-back Brutal Swing, so I'm forced to go for a Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw, of course, double resisted, but it gets them into range where possibly I can go for a Dragon Breath farm down. The opponent goes for Brutal Swing, getting the KO. The opponent is once again not going to allow the farm down, but they swap into Shadow Lapras. I'm able to farm them down this time around. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. They come back in just to be farmed down, and they've got a rollout Shadow Wailord in the back. We've got back-to-back Swifts. First one does big damage. We go for one extra Dragon Breath, fire off Swift number 2, and against all odds, Drampa able to take out the Shadow Wailord, able to take that game there, and we're off to a 1-0 start. Now into the next battle, we're going to see Drampa into Serperior. So this is a much better lead matchup for me. However, we still got a Pokemon in the back, well, 2 Pokemon that double resist Frenzy Plant, so I'm actually going to swap out here, and the opponent does go for Frenzy Plant, double resisted. Very nice there. They come in with a Blastoise, and we're going straight for Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb, of course, going to do some decent neutral damage here. Sludge Bomb grabs a shield, and the opponent going to fire off a Charge Leaf. If they go for Ice Beam, that's fine with me. They actually full send a Skull Bash, boosting up their defense, which definitely isn't ideal for me. However, we're going to come back in with the Drampa, and this should just be a Hydro Cannon, so I'm going to no shield this at the last second. It's just a Hydro Cannon there. I'm now going to over farm, and I'm hoping Swift will put them into Dragon Breath farm down range. Of course, they buff their defense, but it does put them into farm down range, which is very nice. They come back in with the Serperior. Now we can go for the Fly. Fly, of course, going to hit for super effective damage. It gets the KO there. They've got for Alligator in the back, so possibly could have stayed in, but we were very low. Instead, we just swap into Narganadel. We go straight for Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw, gonna be no shielded. They realize there's nothing they can do there, and we're able to take out for Alligator and take that game. Into the next battle, we see a Shadow Grumpig in the lead, so of course they are going to be able to reach the Dynamic Punch at the same pacing as it takes for us to get to that Swift, but they will actually outpace me to the next Charge Move. So what we're going to do here, shield up the Charge Move, and then I will try and swap and catch Dynamic Punch onto my Dragalge. So we swap out there just before they reach the Charge Move, but they swap at the exact same time, coming in with Cradilly. Now I go straight for Aqua Tail here. Of course, Sludge Bomb also going to be neutral. I'm going to hit harder. However, I realize they are going to go for a Rock Tomb straight away, and that's going to debuff my attack, so I want to just get off the charge move damage before they can debuff me. At this point I realize I will just barely live this, so I'm forced them to throw straight away. Rock Tomb drops my attack once again, so unfortunately maybe I should have thrown earlier there, but either way I'm going to get more farm if I come in with my Naga and Adele now. So we're going to come in, get that poison jab farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They come in with a Blastoise, and I'm thinking Blastoise is fairly bulky. I might as well just full send the Acrobatics here. Acrobatics is unfortunately shielded by the opponent, so I then swap into my Drampa, and that doesn't really work out for me either, because whilst I do catch the Ice Beam, I was actually very close to a Swift, so really not looking too good for me right now. I know that the Grumpig also has a charge move. It will just be Dynamic Punch, but even resisted, that does huge damage. I'm forced to throw here. We go straight for Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw. I'm all over the place right now, and unfortunately they can just roll up, farm me down, and we end up losing that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into the next battle, we see a Quagsire in the lead, so we are going to stay in this matchup here. And I am going to shield the first charge move. The opponent is going to bait with an Aqua Tail, which is unfortunate. However, I probably don't expect them to be on Mud Bomb. I expect a Stone Edge. So what we're going to do here, go for Swift, and unfortunately that doesn't quite put them into farm down range before they do reach a Stone Edge. So I'm going to swap, catch it onto my Dragalge, and we're able to bait out a Galarian Weezing once again. Unfortunately this time I'm going to go for an Aqua Tail here. I probably wouldn't have reached a Sludge Bomb, but the opponent is going to continue to overfarm, allowing me to reach a second Aqua Tail. We grabbed the shield on the first one anyways, so definitely not too bad for me, but at this point I'm definitely going to let the Dragalge go down. The opponent goes for Brutal Swing there. They actually undercharge that, which is very smart because they can just go for a Fairy Wind farm down. We're going to swap into Naga and Adele. We're going to shield the Brutal Swing. They're going to swap just to be farmed down by the Naga and Adele, and they come in with a Dust Noir. So at this point, I could full send the Acrobatics. I expect a shield anyways. Dragon Claw, no shielded. This time it would have been beneficial to go for the Acrobatics. However, I'm already at Dragon Claw number 2. We grab a shield this time around. The opponent continued to overfarm. They overfarm too much, underestimating the energy there. Dragon Claw number 3 gets the KO. They come back in with the Weezing. They fire off the charge move, and remember, they do have quite a lot of energy here. So Brutal Swing gets the KO, but we were just 2 Dragon Breaths away from the Swift. It looks like a CMP tie, which we win. Swift gets the KO there, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, we see Drampa into Lapras. So, of course, this is not that bad for me, just because Psy Wave, of course, going to hit for neutral damage, whereas before, they would have been on Ice Shard, which is for super effective damage up against the entire team. We go straight for Swift there. The opponent going to no-shield the first charge move. I'm definitely going to shield. The opponent full sends the Ice Beam, so I can overfarm just a little bit, fire off the Swift here, just before they reach the next charge move. Swift is going to be shielded. It's a CMP tie as well, and at this point, Sparkling Aria probably gets the KO. Despite being resisted, it does take us out there, but that's okay. We can come in with Naga and Adele, go for a Poison Jab farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They come in with a shiny Shadow Sableye, and again, we are going to full send the Acrobatics here. Acrobatics is going to get the one-shot up against the Sableye, but unfortunately, they've got Claydol in the back, and despite having coverage with Aqua Tail, it's just not going to be enough damage here. So Aqua Tail grabs the final shield. I'm expecting them to debuff me with a Rock Tomb, so going to be even worse for me, but actually, they go for the Scorching Sands, and they don't get an attack debuff. But it doesn't really matter, even without a debuff here. Aqua Tail just won't quite be enough damage to get the KO. They can go for a Mudslap farm down, coming out with the charge we've loaded. And unfortunately, Naga and Adele not going to be able to tank this at all. Scorching Sands gets the KO there. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, we see a Shadow Venomoth in the lead. So very cool to see. We're going to stay in this matchup. They will actually outpace me to the first charge move. So I'm definitely going to shield this up. I will try to catch the next charge move onto my Dragalge. But never mind, the opponent actually swaps out of that matchup after debuffing me, swapping into a Forest. So we go straight for Swift. We then swap into Dragalge. And I don't expect them to have Hyper Beam here. So I'm going to no-shield this. I mean, they didn't farm up to it anyways. They go for their own Swift. And we're going to go for an Aqua Tail straight away. Aqua Tail gets the KO there. However, unfortunately, we put ourselves into perfect Psywave farm down for the Venomoth. They get the farm down just before we reach another Aqua Tail. But it's okay. I'm going to come in with Naga and Adele. I expect to resist everything, and the opponent actually just doesn't throw a charge route at all. And at this point, we've learned our lesson. We realize Blastoise probably going to shield anyway, so we go for the Dragon Claw there. That's where Fellstinger probably would be more beneficial, because expecting a shield, we can then boost up our attack. But either way, Dragon Claw number 2 does not get shielded, and at this point, I can just let Narganadel go down. Ice Beam gets the KO there, but we can come in with the Drampa, get the Dragon Breath farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG swap in there into next battle, see a Medicham in the lead. So, not great for us. Gonna say swap into our Dragalge, and the opponent choosing to stay in with the Medicham, firing off a charge move. This will be an Ice Punch. Ice Punch gonna hit for super effective damage. However, we can tank that. And now I'm gonna go for a Sludge Bomb here. Sludge Bomb still won't be enough damage to get the KO, so maybe you could argue I should have just gone for a back-to-back Aqua Tails. However, we grab a shield anyways. At this point, I'm gonna let the Dragalge go down, come in with my Narganadel after waiting out the switch clock, because of course, the opponent has not swapped out of that lead matchup, so they're not switch locked and we're no longer switch locked either. I'm definitely going to shield this. I should now be able to commit to a full Poison Jab farm down before they reach the next charge move, and we've got a lot of energy. However, unfortunately, this energy is going to be completely useless up against the Bastiodon, and honestly, there's just not a lot we can do at this point. We go for Dragon Claw. It doesn't do much damage at all, but then the opponent swaps into a Trevenant, and this is one of Drampa's best matchups here, as we are of course resisting everything they can throw aside from foul play, but pretty unlikely to be running foul play. We're going to no shield, but unfortunately Seed Bomb still does quite a lot of damage here, and I probably could have gotten away with going for a Swift. Either way, it doesn't really make a difference here. Fly gets the KO. We've only got, well, resisted charge moves, all double resisted charge moves to throw. We've only got resisted damage across the whole board here, so Dragon Claw doesn't do much damage. We throw on the CMP tie here. I'm hoping maybe we can reach back-to-back Dragon Claws before they farm me down, but no, that's not going to be the case. We're only going to reach one, so we go for the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw doesn't do much damage. We are very close to a Swift, but it doesn't matter at this point. I might as well allow them to fully farm me down, and unfortunately, I'm not able to win that game. But GG swap in there into next battle. We see Steelix in the lead, but they are on Thunderfang, so definitely a lot better for my Triple Dragon team. We are going to no shield. The opponent goes for Psychic Fangs. We're now going to swap, bank the energy, come in with Dragalge, and we know they're on Psychic Fangs. However, it's not going to do that much damage here. If they farm up to an Earthquake, I probably will shield. However, I'm not going to shield this. Psychic Fangs going to hit for super effective damage, but we tank that pretty comfortably, and we are going to go for another Arctotel straight away into the Steelix. So Arctotel number 2 is actually going to be shielded by the opponent. So at this point, I think I'm happy to let Dragalge go down there. Psychic Fangs doesn't quite take me out, so I'm actually going to swap back into Drampa, get the snipe with the Dragon Breath damage, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They are going to come in with a Mandibuzz, so we're going straight for Swift here. Swift, of course, going to be spammier. Swift, number 1, does some decent damage here. I'm going to fire off Swift, number 2, just before they reach their first charge move. Swift is going to put them into the yellow health range, and they throw just before we reach Swift, number 3. So at this point, I'm going to shield this, but then I make a huge mistake here. I overfarm too much. I don't know what I'm thinking. To be fair, I did do these battles at like 2 AM, so I was just super tired at this point. But we put them into range where Narganadel can get the Poison Jab farm down. They come in with a Jellicent, and I'm just going to play it safe once again, of course. We've already seen Acrobatics be shielded in important situations, so just going to go straight Dragon Claw here. I'm going to shield the first charge move. The opponent goes for the Shadow Ball, full sending it, but we're going to go and farm up to back-to-back Dragon Claws here, or one away, and then I'm actually going to swap into my Dragalge straight after this charge move is thrown. So Dragon Claw number 2 gets them very low. We swap into Dragalge, we get the Dragon Tail farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG swap in there into next battle. We see Lapras in the lead once again. So, once again, going to play this out exactly the same. Go straight for a Swift here. Of course, Fly would do more damage, so maybe it puts them into Dragon Breath farm down range before they reach back-to-back charge moves. But either way, I just want guaranteed damage here. So, we go straight for Swift. I'm going to shield. They have farmed up a lot of energy. They full send a Blizzard. What the heck is that? But then they come in with Skarmory, and unfortunately, I don't really have an answer to Skarmory at all. So, what we're going to do, fire off the Swift, come in with Dragalge. We can at least hit for neutral damage with an Aquatail, but Aquatail is the only neutral move I've got up against Skarmory. I'm going to shield the first move. They do just go for a Sky Attack there, which we would have been able to tank. But either way, I can fire off the Aquatail, and I will actually outpace them to another Aquatail as well. So possibly grab both shields from the opponent. So Aquatail number 2 is going to be shielded by the Skarmory. They swap back into Lapras, and I'm able to go for a full Dragon Tail farm down. And let's see, the opponent comes in with Annihilate. So unfortunately, maybe what I should have done there is bank the energy, save the Aquatail for the Skarmory, and then just come in with my Narganadel. However, I wouldn't reach an acrobatics anyways because, I mean, Rage Fist is going to do quite a lot of damage here, or they might be on Ice Punch, and then just, in that case, fully one-shot me, and Ice Punch does get the KO there. We've got to remember, Skarmory does have a charge move, so what we're actually going to do here, I wasn't sure if we could get the farm down with Dragalge and come out close to an Aqua Tail, so we come in with the Drampa, and it backfires massively as I don't quite reach a charge move. The opponent, of course, goes for the Brave Bird. Brave Bird gets the KO there, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG Serpo there into the next battle. We see Serperior in the lead once again. They're going to say swap into a Shadow Dusclops. Now, this should be a good matchup because I am double resisting the Hex damage. However, Ice Punch, as you will see later in this battle, is going to hit incredibly hard. So we go straight for Fly. Fly is going to be shielded by the opponent. At this point, I'm not going to double shield. I'm going to see how much damage this does. And Ice Punch nearly gets the one-shot there. And unfortunately, they just barely outpaced me before I reach Fly number 2. So at this point, I'm actually going to let the Drampa go down. We're going to come in with Dragalge, go for the Dragon Tail farm down there, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. Of course, we still got a great matchup into Serperior, and they actually come in with the Serperior. So at this point, I'm happy to let them throw a charge move here. I'm just going to overfarm massively. If they're coming in with the Serperior here, maybe they've got a second Pokemon very weak to Dragalge as well. So we go straight for Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb, no shielded, it gets the KO, and they come in with a Credilli. So at this point, I'm going to farm up, throw the Sludge Bomb on the CMP tie here. Sludge Bomb is going to be no shielded by the opponent, and at this point, it's going to be game over. I'm going to no shield the opponent actually on Rock Side and not Rock Tomb, so they don't debuff my attack, and Rock Side just doesn't do that much damage either. We can come in with Narganadel. I'm going to no shield that. The opponent recognizing there's nothing they can do anymore, so they just concede the match. So, GG Stop on there into the next battle. We see a Grumpig in the lead this time. It's not going to be a Shadow, so either way, Dynamic Punch is going to one-shot us anyway, so I'm going to go straight for Swift here. Again, we do pace the same to the first charge move. However, the second charge move, they will get their one turn sooner. At this point, they go for Dynamic Punch. They are going to stay in and allow me to fully farm them down there, which is very nice. The opponent is going to come in with a Serperior once again. So once again, looking to be pretty weak to Dragon types in the back. I'm again going to swap. I try to catch a Frenzy Plant there, but I guess Aerial Ace still makes sense there. They're going to come in with their final Pokemon, which is a Clodsire, and definitely where we want to see it here, because we do, of course, resist the Poison Sting damage, and we've got Aqua Tail to hit for super effective. So great matchup for the Dragalge. We've already landed an Aqua Tail here, and we are going to go for another Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail should be grabbing a shield at this point, and we do grab that shield. The opponent get off the charge move straight away here as the opponent goes for the Earthquake. Earthquake easily gets the KO there. I'm going to farm up 2 back-to-back Swifts before firing off the first one. Swift is going to be no shielded by the opponent. I'm then going to swap straight away into Narganadel, and this is absolutely game over at this point. The opponent goes for another Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace doesn't do too much damage. We can go for a full Poison Jab farm down, taking out Serperior, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG Swap on there into the next battle, another Shadow Galarian Weezing in the lead. So again, gonna say swap into my Dragalge, and unfortunately Sludge Bomb not gonna be very good here in this matchup because it is resisted. So what we're instead gonna do is tank the Foul Play, and of course because Foul Play does less damage, we might actually be able to flip this matchup if they no shield the Aqua Tail, and we are able to do so, coming out with another Aqua Tail loaded. So let's see what the opponent wants to do. They come in with a Blastoise, which is a bit unfortunate there. Of course Aqua Tail is resisted, it doesn't do much damage, but I wouldn't have reached a Sludge Bomb anyways. So now we come in with the Drampa. They're going to swap straight away into that Galarian Weezing. I'm going to shield. I'm probably going to double shield actually. And again, this is a matchup where if I had Fell Sting, I could just boost my way through this matchup. But unfortunately, Brutal Swing does big damage there. And actually, I'm not even going to live to make it to 2 Dragon Claws anyway. So maybe should have just gone for the acrobatics there. But either way, it doesn't really matter. This game is absolutely over. The Blastoise should be able to reach an Ice Beam in time. So I'm going to no shield the first charge move here. I'm not able to get that Dragon Breath farm down, and at this point, I'm just going to no shield. Brutal Swing easily takes out the Drampa, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG Stop on there into the final battle of this video, leading into a Mulga. So a pretty good matchup for me. We are going to outpace them to the Swift. I'm going to throw just before they reach an acrobatics. And then I'm actually going to swap into my Dragalge here because Dragalge is definitely bulkier. I'm going to no shield this as the opponent is going to go for a Discharge Bait, which is fine with me. And then come in with a Gastrodon, which is definitely not ideal. But I'm going to go for an Aqua Tail, trying to throw on the CMP tie if they went for Body Slam. However, the opponent is instead going to commit to a full Mud Slap farm down. At this point, of course, we're going to have to come back in with the Drampa. We've not really taken much damage because they were on Thunder Shock on the Emolga. However, I'm going to shield the opponent base with a Body Slam. This is now enough energy for an Earth Power, so I'm going to double shield. It is the Earth Power, and now I'm able to Dragon Breath farm them down. We're at a 2-0 shield disadvantage here, but I can go for a Swift. Swift is going to grab a shield from the Superior. I'm then going to swap. Again, I tried to catch a Charge Reef there. It doesn't really matter because the opponent is going to go for the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace, well, a second Aerial Ace is very nearly going to take me out anyways, but we can go for the Dragon Claw, throw on the CMP tie, but actually no, the opponent does not throw straight away. Instead, they overfarm. The opponent goes for Aerial Ace. That still doesn't quite get the KO. They swap back into Emolga, but Drampa just barely able to reach a Swift in time, and of course, Swift from this range will be enough damage after this lag to very eventually take out Superior, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.